Hey, Greg. Why are you coming here looking like that? You know that today is the day of our class reunion, right?
Huh? Who is this?
This is Jan Witherton.
Jan Witherton?
Well, this isn't my parents' last name, so I'm sure you won't know who I am. Jan Smith.
Oh, Jan Smith, huh? It's been a very long time.
But I'm married now, so you can call me by my new last name, Witherton.
So if you're talking to me right now after such a long time, that must mean you're here right now at the reunion as well, right?
I am, you idiot.
Then you shouldn't have to be texting me right now, right? You can come over to me and talk in person.
The reason I'm texting you right now is because I don't want to come over to you.
Huh?
Are you going to tell me that old heap of garbage truck you showed up in today is yours?
That's right, but what does that have to do with anything?
Are you serious? My God. I cannot believe you'd show up to your class reunion in a truck like that, still wearing your raggedy work clothes.
So that's what all of this is about. Well, before the reunion started, I had a job come up that I needed to be at, so there was no time for me to get changed after my work was done.
You didn't change your clothes because you're too poor to have proper clothing, right?
What?
If I remember correctly, your house is filled with all sorts of old and disgusting furniture because your parents could never afford to get anything new.
Now that you're saying that again, it reminds me of how often you picked on me back in school because of my house.
Well, come on. Did you see your place? You've been living in that same place ever since we all started elementary school, and I was certain that house would cave in on itself at some point before we all graduated high school.
Well, right now my older brother and his wife have that house, and I'm living downtown near the bus station. Don't you remember back when we all finished elementary school, I moved into a new place with my family? We ended up getting a house downtown near the bus station where there was a shop on the first floor and then our house was on the second floor. Well, my parents opened that secondhand furniture store on the first floor when we moved in.
So that's what happened to that old house.
Since my parents run the place on the first floor of the building, and since I have a job of my own, I have no desire to work for them.
I see. So your parents must have seen just how much of a useless idiot you really are and made sure not to let you work in that store with them, right?
That's not the reason for it at all. I'm just saying that I have wants of my own, and one of those is to work a different kind of job than that.
So in other words, what you're saying is that you failed to do the job they asked you to do, and so now you're left doing some stupid work that you want to do. I totally get it now. Such a great feeling, right?
So, no matter what I try and say about myself, you seem to only want to make it seem as though I'm a failure.
And another thing, it's starting to smell like sweat in here now. It must be a pretty rough life having to work hard for such little income every day, right? I guess life for you is totally different from the life a CEO's wife like me gets to live.
You're the wife of a CEO? So your husband runs a company somewhere and you're able to live easily as his wife?
That's it. And that really expensive-looking car parked out front is the car that my husband bought for me. It must be crazy to see someone like me living their life on easy mode when you're stuck having to drive a run-down truck like that and work every day in those stinky clothes as a poor person.
I can tell that you have no idea what being poor is really like, and that's fine. But I hold a lot of respect for the job I do, and I feel as though the life I have right now doesn't make me a poor person in any way.
Really? Even though you just showed up to your class reunion in sweaty work clothes and a falling-apart pickup truck?
I only came here today in my work clothes and that truck because I got a job last minute that I needed to go help with. So that has nothing to do with the man I've become. And after I'd finished that job, I didn't have time to head all the way back home to get changed, so that's why I came dressed in my work clothes and everything. And as for the truck and these clothes, they're all from my job.
Oh, come on now. What kind of work are you helping with that requires you to have that crappy truck and such smelly clothes?
Near the bus station downtown, there's that produce store that happens to be busy every day, right? Well, currently, a friend of mine who's a farmer isn't doing so well, so I went out to his farm to grab the produce he planned to sell today and drove it into town to be placed in that store before coming here. The store is on the way, so I had no problem doing that for him.
You can tell me any kind of excuse you'd like.
Jan, if all you plan to do is make poor comments about me due to your delusions all day, do you mind just shutting up?
Huh? Delusions?
I really want to put down my phone now so that I can get back to talking with my old friends, so this is where we'll be ending things.
Who cares what you want, you moneyless loser? You're the most disgusting person I've ever come across. What was up with that? You had wanted time to talk to all your old friends today, but now you're sneaking out. Maybe after talking to everyone for a bit, they started to realize just how much of a moneyless loser you really are, and so you snuck away in embarrassment? Well, it's totally okay for you to not come to the after party, all right? If a loser like you had to come to a party with all of us in those sweaty clothes of yours, well, you get what I'm trying to say, right?
Well, actually, the only reason I had to leave is that I have some more work to get done now, and so I had no other choice. But if you still want to doubt what I'm saying, go ahead and ask some of the people I was talking to, and they'll say the same thing.
You actually think I'm going to go check on what's happened to you? I do not have the time to go out asking why a poor person like you had to leave the party.
That's right, but now that we both understand one another, can you stop texting me about this?
Huh?
I am a bit jealous that you get to be the wife of a CEO and all that, but don't think that means I care to talk with you.
And you should be jealous. I'm like a celebrity to all of you guys. Unlike a moneyless loser like you, I live in a completely different world filled with fancy and gorgeous things.
And a true celebrity would never care to talk with me the way you are now.
Excuse me?
To tell it to you straight, you're being indecent.
What the hell did you just say?
Do you really think you have it in you to be the wife of a CEO? Because a true wife of one would be helping him with his company rather than using his image to boost your own. Let's put it this way. If I was your husband and I was a CEO and all you did as my wife was spend my money and make fun of others, then I'd probably say that I don't need you as my wife anymore.
Don't need me?
That's right. Don't need ya. Right. Now that we're talking about your husband and his job as a CEO, can you go ahead and tell him that he is in debt $7 million to all of his customers and that those relations will be halted for the time being?
Huh? $7 million?
Of course, he'll be told by other companies as well here soon, but it would be nice of you as his wife to inform him of all this.
Is this like a downturn?
In your case, you're much like your husband's employees, where you're given money by him like a salary every month, right? Well, since your income is on the line much like the rest of your husband's employees, it'd be best that you start to understand the state of his company a bit more.
Greg! What the hell does this mean? How are you the #1 customer to my husband's company?
So you finally talked with your husband about this?
I sure the hell have. Just when I thought you were trying to play games with me by saying all of that about my husband, I went and asked him myself to see what was going on.
So you thought that I was just messing around then?
I just thought that you were trying to make up for losing to me and tried to lie about my husband's job. But when I went to my husband with all of this, he turned ghost white. He told me that a project he'd been working on worth $7 million had started to go downhill.
And as for that project, he had come to my company asking for us to help take part in it to come out with a success. And at first I thought that the partnership would be good for us and that we'd just have to work with his company like any other project had been. But when I saw the information regarding the project from him, well, let's just say that what he had been wanting was unobtainable and that he was way in over his head.
It was that bad then?
Yes. He didn't even have any plans yet for the marketing side of the project, and that alone showed me that he had no faith in even getting this project to go anywhere. And so that's why I ended up saying no to his offer of us working together. But before I even had the chance to give him my answer, he already had his company working on the project and everything, thinking I'd join in. This should be common sense for anyone, but when someone already starts working on something without even getting notice of their partner's will to work alongside them or not, it's not a good sign for things to come. So, after seeing all of this from your husband and his company, I lost faith in doing any more work with him, and so I canceled all projects that were already ongoing with his company and will no longer be a customer of his. And I made sure to have that notice sent to his company the other day.
What the hell? So this is what ended up happening?
I'll have you know on a personal level that your husband has got guts for jumping on a project like that without overthinking things. But when it comes to business, you can't be too hasty like that. It can spell doom for any company when they aren't quite ready yet. And that's why I'd no longer like to do business with him and his company.
What the hell does he think he's doing? Hey, Greg. You guys, did you all move out of that house?
Huh? Oh, geez, it's you again, Mrs. Jan Witherton. It's been, what, half a year now since we last chatted?
It's Smith again.
Huh?
I divorced that man today. His company ended up going bankrupt, so I made sure that he paid for doing something so selfish as losing his company while married to me.
Okay.
So you guys moved out of that house?
Why are you asking me something like that?
I know that back in elementary school your family moved downtown and opened up that used furniture store near the station, but now it's gone and has been turned into an apartment building.
Well, my parents moved their store, and when they did that, they sold that place to a housing company. Well, I didn't know they were going to tear that place down and turn it into an apartment building, though, so that's news to my ears. Does this mean that you went to our old house and tried looking for me?
I sure did, and I thought that it would still be your house, and that's why I came all the way over here looking for you. If you were going to move out of there, you need to tell me that stuff.
Why is it important for me to tell you when I'm moving, when you and I have little relation to one another? It's not even like you're close to my parents either.
Well, I'm planning on getting married to you soon, so you know better than to leave me in the dark like this.
Huh?
It looks like a lonely loser like you is finally going to have your chance at getting a wife, right? And not only is this chance rare for you, but it's even more rare considering I'm like the diamond of women, and I'm willing to marry you now. So make sure to treat me right, okay?
No, please tell me you're not being serious right now.
Hey, about your current address.
I'm already married to another woman right now.
Huh?
I've been married to one of my best friends for a while now, and we've already had 3 kids together.
You're kidding. That's a freaking lie, right? If you're already married, then what's going to happen to me? I thought that even after divorcing someone like my ex, I'd still have you to fall back on.
Wait. Why did you think that would be the case? There was never a moment between us where you thought you could become my wife, right?
There was, though. Back in middle school, you had a crush on me.
I absolutely did not, but...
Huh? When you and I were in the same classes in 8th grade, you were always looking over at me like you wanted me in every way.
That was me looking at the girl sitting next to you, who is now currently my wife.
What?
So that's probably why you thought I was looking at you like that back then. And back then you knew about me dating her, right?
Wait, you're joking, right? No way. You're telling me that you were into that nerdy little freak of a girl?
Well, rather than calling her a nerdy freak, you can call her something like a nerdy and quirky girl.
Huh? You're telling me that a freak like her made you fall in love with her more than a goddess like me? You divorce her this instant and come and marry me.
Screw you.
Marry me right now. Where the hell are you living right now, Greg? Marry me. Tell me where you live.
Shut up already.
What?
I'm blocking you now.
Wait a goddamn second.
Bye-bye.
You're supposed to marry me.
Right before blocking things with Jan, she made it seem as though I'd really want to marry her. However, what I learned later is that the previous marriage she had with her CEO husband was actually made possible by her stealing him from her younger sister years ago, and that led to her whole family cutting ties to her. And so, because of that, after leaving her CEO husband, she would have nowhere left to go home to. And that's why she was so hell-bent on marrying me. And only a few days after I blocked her, she started to cause a disturbance at the front desk of my office, saying she needed to talk to me and would start tearing her way into my office if they didn't let her in. But before she could do anything to get to me or harm any of my employees, my security was on her like dogs, and they took her away in one of their cars to the nearest police station to have her turned in for trespassing. And ever since she was taken into custody by the police, things have been calm and peaceful for me. However, a couple days after that, I heard more news about her and her ex-husband. And it became clear to me that she never left her husband due to his company going bankrupt. Rather, he had divorced her because she'd been cheating on him with another man from our class reunion. So as of right now, Jan is working her butt off at multiple different jobs, trying to make money to pay for her own apartment, as well as money to pay off the settlement her ex asked for.